Our focus to some more visuals that we're going to put out for you on your screen. These are from Mumbai, where a recruitment drive has led to a stampede-like situation. Yes, more than 25,000 applicants turned up for a walk-in interview at Air India Airport Services Limited. However, there were only 2,216 vacancies. Despite the limited number of openings, a huge crowd showed up at the recruitment office, leading to chaos. As you can see, the applicants jostled with each other to reach the form counters. Air India Airport Services Limited provides ground handling services at major airports in India, and the airport loaders are tasked with loading and unloading of luggage on aircrafts and operating baggage belts as well. The salary ranges between 20,000 to 25,000. Reports suggest that many of these applicants traveled from as far as 400 kilometers and waited in queue without food and water. Now, this comes almost a week after another video at a recruitment center had gone viral from Gujarat's Bharuch, where a huge crowd of applicants can be seen breaking a railing unintentionally. In Gujarat, around 1,800 applicants had turned up for interviews for a post that had just 10 vacancies. Clearly, of course, all of this is showing a bit of an unemployment crisis in the country. It's time for a proper employment plan. Let's open this up. Joining us at this point, Mithali Nikore, economist. Himanshu Bhatt, senior journalist, also with us live. Gargi Nandi Roy, political analyst, is joining us live. Chandrasekhar Nene, aviation expert, former CIO, in fact, at Vatania Airways, is also live with us. Let me bring you in here first, Mithali. What did you make of these visuals which came in, a stampede literally breaking out because there were simply too many applicants for limited vacancies?
Absolutely, Uday. I mean, the youth unemployment crisis that is unfolding before us. Of course, the stampede visuals are very heartbreaking, and for we are also not that old, Uday. You and I, we can imagine, how our situation was when we were looking for jobs as fresh graduates out of university, and the anxiety that any young person goes through. I mean, I can completely empathize with them, and this coming on the back of the various scams that we've witnessed in terms of the different recruitment scams and the years that students are spending for these competitive exams, and then feeling disheartened, and the allure of a government job that is just taking them in this direction is one of the major reasons. And I think at the end of the day, why is this happening? This is happening because we need to invest more in the depth of our job markets. At this point in time, there are certain jobs that are over glorified. Like being an engineer or an IT engineer, or being in a government service. These are over glorified, and then there are other jobs which need skilled people, but we are not respecting those jobs, and we need to start respecting the secondary sector jobs, the jobs in the manufacturing sector, the jobs in the blue collar workforce, for which many people can be skilled, qualified, and highly paid. And what we really need is a plan for employment in the country that includes all types of jobs, not only the white collar and glorifying only the white collar and the knowledge economy, but also looking at the blue collar workforce, the manufacturing sector. And then, of course, the third aspect of the entire employment story is entrepreneurship, and providing more and more support, financing for young startups, for young people who want to come up with their own startups and entrepreneurship, even in rural areas, in the agriculture sector. This is the real need of the hour, and we need to invest also in climate smart in entrepreneurship. And only when we do this broad based planning for creating jobs across sectors, and not only few of the opportunities being glorified, that we can move from there, because today these visuals are really heartbreaking.
Yes, they are. Himanshu Bhatt, come in here. Is it time for a proper employment plan to be generated? Is it time for concrete jobs data to also be revealed by the government? Because these visuals, and not just, of course, in Mumbai, in these latest ones, but also the latest, visuals and the recent visuals that you must have seen from your home state of Gujarat, also show that there is a problem clearly with employment.
Yeah, there is a problem. But what is the problem? Do we understand the problem? See, that's what the problem is. We do not understand the problem, because the colonial mindset since 1947 has gone into our head that only government jobs are jobs. and that is only considered as an employment. We are not looking at anything out of government job. How is it that 25,000 people turn up for a job of 20,000 bucks in Air India? Why? Because everybody wants to be a damad of government. See, that is our mindset. That's a colonial, slavic mindset. We are still mentally the slaves of that colonial systems. That's our systemic problem. We need to correct that systemic problem first. And for that, what will you do? You have to change your education system from the basic classroom model into, the jobs. That is what people did. That is what English people did. From classroom, 18 years of classroom and then into job. And looking at this, population explosion in our country with 1.4 billion, this side of scenes are not uncommon. Every time there is a vacancy come up, you will have 15 times, 20 times, 100 times more number of applicants in a place like India because of the huge population. So that's going to be common. But to solve that, it's not a soft way out. If we start doing it something today, then it might yield results after 10 years. And saying is very nice that go for entrepreneurship, go for small scale industries. But the basic problems there are, does the government does enough to reach everyone who is a jobless, that this is an opportunity for you to start a small scale unit in your own place? Do we have those systems? That's our government. See, our government's failure, I'll consider it only that. The governments of the day have not been able to, propagate them that they are doing so much for that. You are talking of mudra loan. Some people have taken advantage, but in a country of 140 crores, just 8 crores people taking mudra loan. What is the percentage of number? If you take, one household, one mudra loan, there has to be 40,000 crore people. Looking at all these things, my basic thing with what I'll say is, term unemployment, yes, unemployed youth is there, unemployed people is there, but only government job seeking people are not unemployed. Only government jobs will make you unemployed or employed. Some people politically take advantage of all these things and say he'll come up with 30 lakh jobs. How? That he cannot say. See, it's all fine. To win elections, you do all these things. But when you talk in reality, you have to come up with the practical solutions.
Gargi Nandi Roy, is there an adequate employment plan, jobs plan set out and laid out by the government? Is it time to move away from just government jobs? The over-reliance on government jobs as a means of employment. Do you believe we are generating enough jobs at the right pace or not?
Okay, thank you for inviting me there. Firstly, let me give you one RBI data which came last week itself. See, there has been a 6% employment growth rate increase in the fiscal 2024. And as per the RBI report, India has created 46.7 lakh jobs, that is 4.67 lakh jobs in the financial year ending March 2024, and that takes the entire employment of is to 643.3 million, that is 64 crores 33 lakhs. So that is, it is not bad. Now coming to this situation, as my prior panelists said, yes, this fixation with government job, but coming to today's situation, it is a Tata-owned Air India, but everybody wants to go for a Tata job. So everybody cannot be in a government job. But if you see in Mumbai, I am living, if you see a vegetable vendor, fruit vendor, people may not be respecting them. They earn in lakhs, but because they are enterprising people, an auto driver earns quite a bit, 40,000, 50,000. because this city has that capacity, buying capacity, but people have to be really encouraged to be enterprising. That is lacking. And coming to today's situation, it was really heartbreaking and shocking. But I feel this could have been avoided, Uday, with a better planning. If you are having a walk-in interview in a city like Mumbai, where people come from all over the country, you should spread out a walk-in interview over a week's period, and there should be a prior registration process with date and time, so people can register on a particular day, on a particular time, so you know how many people are coming on a particular date and particular time. Because we run an institute, when we had done walk-in interviews, you should have this kind of a prior registration process. Otherwise, you cannot manage the crowd. I think it was a bad planning, really bad planning. I don't know why they didn't do that. And how can you have walk-in interview even of 2,200 people in one single day? Tell me. So it should have been spread out over a period, and there should have been prior registration. Then this could have been surely avoided, whatever number of people might have come. And yes, from the government, mudra loans cannot be given or cannot be gained by everybody, but small enterprises, and as Himanshuji rightfully said, that mentality, that colonial hangover, or we call it in Bengali babu culture, that you want to be that babu going to the office at 9:30 and 5 and around the theater and adda, and that is that kind of a mindset. Because when you are the entrepreneur, you have to work 24/7. So people don't encourage, parents don't encourage enterprise. In case ki naukri lag jaye, baba ek naukri lag jaye, sarkari naukri lag jaye. So that's why people went for Tata, na? Because Tata gives benefits. So if you make our children more enterprising, so there will be entrepreneurship. Yes, entrepreneurship should be encouraged. And I'm telling you, food vendors, those fast food stall, pani puri wallas, just see how much they are earning, because they are poor boys coming from a village background, but they are enterprising. They are earning more than those white collar jobs. A guy working for an office may be earning 20-25,000, and you see a street vendor, he's earning in lakhs. But a parent will not encourage the child to do that kind of a business. So yes, business enterprise should be encouraged. At the same time, I know I've heard Congress talking about unemployment. That's why I gave the data of RBI. Despite COVID and despite the war, this is the data that he has 46.7 million job has been created in the financial year ending March 2024. So we cannot blame everything on the government. And as I said, there should be better planning when you are calling for interviews. That should have been done.
Chandrasekhar Nene, come in here. How could this have been handled better by this particular company? It's of course an aviation company. If we talk about aviation sector, are there enough jobs being generated at the pace that they should? Chandrasekhar, are you there with us? Okay, I think we're having some trouble with his connection, unfortunately. Mithali, coming back across to you now, we are discussing this on the eve of the budget as well. The budget, of course, is an economic exercise, but the budget also can be used to further, means of generating employment and ways of generating employment. What are you hoping for on this front in the budget?
I mean, we are just few days away from the budget. And, what we're finding is at this point in time, our expectation is definitely that, as Gargi ma'am rightly said, there's a lot of employment that has been generated. We have seen this new RBI data coming in, a lot of that employment being generated in the manufacturing sector per se, and the manufacturing sector really outperforming, even in terms of job creation expectations. Because, when I was analyzing the RBI data, I found that there were years when only 2 or 3 million jobs were generated, and in post-COVID recovery we've actually generated first 30 million, then 25 million, and then 46 million jobs just in the last 3 years. So it has been a very strong performance on job creation, especially in the secondary sector. And when we talk to the industry, what they are telling us is that we are having problems with finding skilled labor, because the skilling criteria and the kind of skilling exposure that is required in the blue collar workforce, that's not exactly right now in place. But the industry and government across states are working together to integrate more, to improve the curriculum. So that process is ongoing. But definitely the expectation that I have from this budget is that there will be some announcements for skill training. There will be some announcements for job creation, particularly entrepreneurship development in, like ma'am was saying, in street vending, and like Himanshu ji also very rightly said, in other areas, for example, so that we are not just dependent on this, government job mindset. But one thing, Uday, which I really feel should be a novel idea, which I'm not sure whether it will come in the budget or not, but I've been talking about it for a long time, is to set up a market for social security. See, one of the major reasons why everybody is excited to go for a job in a stable private enterprise or a government is because of the social security benefits that come along with it, be it insurance or be it leave policies, generous leave policies, or even travel leave allowance, and all of those sort of social security and the benefits that come with the job. But if we can improve our market for social security, for leave allowances, for unemployment insurance, for insurance in general, then we start to remove and like create job markets where employers are only responsible for the job and compensation for the job, and your social security is something you can actually purchase in a market setting. And in the future, when we will see a lot more gig work coming in, for that, this market for social security will be extremely essential. So I do feel that more investment from the government side into setting up affordable insurance policies and affordable social security policies, which can be purchased by people across income groups, will play a long way in creating more jobs. It will become more affordable for entrepreneurs to give jobs if they don't have to bear the cost of social security as well.
But come in here, because of course the opposition will be quick to criticize unemployment record of the government, and they will say unemployment is a big issue in India today, and that is what they've been highlighting in elections, and the recent results would help their cause and case. Is that a true assertion according to Himanshu? Also, the budget is coming up. What would be your expectations on the jobs front and the employment front from the Union Finance Minister?
I'll tell you one thing. See, unemployment was always there. It was there in the past, it is there now. And I fear how much ever developed we become, even by 2047, there will be unemployment. The reason for that is our population. But the solution to that is not easy. And for that, we'll have to skill India. We'll have to absorb, we'll have to give skill to the Indian youth. Because we are at an average of 27, 30 years of age. And if we can, make them capable enough to manufacture a certain things, either as a workforce or as an entrepreneur, whatever be the case. See, suppose, for example, when GE engines come from US, I'll take a very common example and tell you. Yes, they will pass on the technology, but do we have the skilled manforce to enforce that technology and go further? Now, for that, you require a skilled workforce. And that skilled workforce, or for that matter, an apparel park, when set up somewhere, they are setting up somewhere here in South Gujarat. Now, from fiber to finished fabric, just imagine, instead of one process of fiber making to the entire chain of processes, 5 processes, making a finished apparel, that will give the skill, that will require a skilled labor to make an apparel. That will require a skilled labor to manufacture a fabric. Now, all these things will have to be important. That's why I say, this classroom model has actually ruined our youth. We have to have that skill-based, entrepreneurship for people to learn about in the present world, if we want to progress rapidly. And we are talking in terms of, 4 billion to 4 trillion today, and then, 2027 and 2028, we want to cross 5 trillion and then go on an autopilot. If you want to go on an autopilot, you have to have the skilled youth of India taking up at least 45% of Indian GDP, then only that dream will become a reality. Right? And that's why, when opposition says so much of unemployment, this, that and all, but for 70 years, they provided nothing. For 70 years of the rule, if you see and take out the figures, how much of an employment was the government providing and what has been provided today? After COVID, you see for 3 years and you find it out. But that doesn't mean, that comparison actually is not right. I look at it that way, that we are not skilled enough because we have not been provided by those, by our systems. It's our systemic problem. And that to, eradicate the systemic problem, we'll have to work very, very technically and go along with it. And so I expect in a budget, I expect that Skill India will be given importance. In the sectors like, for example, textiles, or even in agriculture, agro-processing that we are talking about, there's a huge opportunity there. So the Skill India will get a lot of importance. This is what is my feeling, is that should come about sooner than later. And why not in this budget? Uday.
Okay. Let me, in fact, quickly try and rope back in Chandrasekhar Nene if he's with us now. Chandrasekhar, are you there with us now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are now. I don't know if you heard my earlier question. I was trying to ask you how the situation could have been handled better in Mumbai, and also in the aviation sector. Are enough jobs being created at the pace that they should be?
Actually, in India, the aviation sector is really exploding with capacity. It has never been like this before. I was in the industry for more than 35 years. The way we are creating more airports, the way all the airlines are importing more and more aircrafts, this is going to go out of the roof, in fact. What is required here is a proper, efficient handling of the candidates. This particular case we saw, you see, loader is one of the lowest skill levels employable in an airline. Pilot is at the highest, as we all know. But even for loaders, you have to have a proper HR process to get their applications vetted before they crowd in on your office. 22,000 people crowding in on your office, no force on earth will be able to handle that better. They won't be able to handle it, in fact. The reason this happened is because people see a loader as a step ladder to get a good employment in a good environment, and that too with the name like Tata. What could have been done better is if they wanted people from outside Mumbai, they could have given small ads in papers outside Mumbai, got the applications vetted, and only called the people who were supposed to come. Everybody has come. I saw that people who have done BA, BCom, MCom, those people were coming for these interviews. That is where Himanshu sir was saying our skill level and job matching is not being done in the country. We need to do the Skill India project very, very harshly. We have to do the training institutes. And problem is not bad. Problem is that having in the airline field, we don't have employable people. It's not a problem of unemployment. It is a problem of finding employable people. And the reason that is happening is training is not being done in a proper way, and handling of an interview, which is a task in itself. This seems to have been failed by whoever organized those walk-ins. Walk-ins also, when I was with the airlines, we did it so efficiently that when we had walk-ins, we knew that at least 70% of the people who were walk-in, we could easily pick them up. So we created some kind of filtering, vetting of the applicants to make sure that the applicants who are fitting only can join. You see, there was a report here that some people in the queue, they fainted because of the stress and because of the crowding and all. You don't get loader who can faint at crowding and things like that. You need fit people, which obviously means the people who came for the interview were not really fit for this job. Not all of them, I'm saying. And this could have been done efficiently. Aviation field in India is really growing fast. People should get training in aviation and they will get jobs. I'm quite sure, because less and less AI is used in aviation for jobs like loaders and airport handling, ground handling on. We will require people here. This is one people intensive service business. Aviation, trains, the whole transport industry, the whole shipping industry. You will need more and more people. So this is one field where AI is not going to encroach upon employability. employability. Our youth should be trained properly. Our HR people should handle these interview processes properly, and we will come out of this mess. I hope that this is the last time such a thing happens. People who are taking cognizance of our debate should realize that they have to prepare themselves very well to handle these kind of walk-ins. Because India, there is no dearth of youth. India, there is no dearth of trainings. The problem is the trained youth and reaching them to the proper interview stage. If that we can manage better, I think we will still do well, because India is the only country in the world today which is growing at the rate of 7.2%. I understand when Himanshu says that we have got a huge population problem, but we have got a huge number of youth who can be employed if they are skilled properly and if their employment process is done in a proper manner. That is what my experience tells me.
Right. Let me leave the last word to Gargi Nandi Roy on the way forward.
Yes, I think you're saying that the budget is coming. Yes, obviously, I think capital expenditure should be more, because that generates job, capital expenditure. And as Himanshu ji has said, obviously, Skill India is there. More skill programs and vocational training should be given. And I agree with Chandrasekhar ji that we do not have so many employable people. If you see, you give a call for an interview, you will find people are saying they're graduates and all. They are not able to write a mail. So that kind of thing. So many people are coming and they're saying they're not getting jobs. So that is also very important. What kind of training they are getting in schools and colleges. So those vocational trainings, the government budget should emphasize, I think, obviously skilling up people and vocational training, because everybody cannot be an engineer or a doctor or an architect. So there are so many jobs, so many opportunities. So if we can have that kind of labor force, I think the country is generating jobs. We can think of a better future, and obviously a better planning. Surely you need a better planning. I had stated that. Chandrasekhar ji also said that you should have a better planning when you are having an interview. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. So that's it.
All right. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us on this discussion.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.